Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Firo Fortnight. My name is Ruben. I am the project steward of the Firo project, and basically we're going to cover some of the updates that's been happening in the Firo world, and yeah, just keep you up to date on what the core team has been working on. And this is also a time where, if you want to have any sort of comments, just feel free to leave them right in the comment section. And we are always very, very glad to hear from you guys. And while you're here, please don't forget to give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel and click on the bell button to make sure that you're updated to all the updates and videos that we put out. It really helps the channel grow and it's totally free. So if you like what we're doing, please do help us out. So yeah, the first thing that happened was actually pretty big. We've actually been seeing like increased volumes over the past couple of weeks. It's tapered off a little bit, but we have been looking at before this whole kind of burst of interest in Firo happened, we were doing about 1 to 2 million volume on Binance, and recently that has been even up to 20-30 million in a single day. But even now, when things have kind of tapered off, it's still doing a constant 3 to 4 million. So that still is a 4-time increase. We've also seen a huge uptake in masternode numbers. I think over 300 to 400 new masternodes have come online, and despite the price going up and down, those masternode numbers continue to increase, meaning that we are seeing increased holders. So all in all, really good metrics. It looks like we are entering into another bull market. I mean, I do think we're already in a bull market. Obviously not financial advice, but yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. We saw Trump release his own meme coin. Yeah, that's been taking a lot of interest away from other altcoins. We've seen, it looks like Trump's gonna come into power in, I guess, 2 days from the time of recording, and will be interesting to see what comes of crypto. Especially with Elon Musk. It's a bit of a grift. It's a bit crazy, but hopefully this leads to at least a bit more open atmosphere to crypto, and maybe something good will come up this, especially with all this increased attention into our space. And I do think that once people start taking crypto more seriously, stuff like privacy coins would really get us some attention there. So yeah, let's take a look at what actually has been happening. And I think one of the biggest things that happened was just that we got perpetual on MEXC, which is a pretty big exchange. It isn't Firo's main exchange, but in terms of, it's, I would say maybe like a tier 1 or tier 2 exchange, and they listed us as a perpetual without any sort of payment or anything. This was an organic listing, which shows that they have also noticed that Firo is growing, right? So that's pretty interesting. And basically, what is a perpetual? A perpetual means that you don't actually, you're just betting on the price of Firo, right? You can take a short, that means you think that Firo is going to go down, and you can also take a long, which means that you think Firo is going to go up. And this is all done. This is kind of different with margin trading, where there's actual Firo being held as collateral. Here, this is just a pure contract. If you think about it, it's a kind of futures, and there's pros and cons to this. The really good thing is that, well, if people want the short Firo, you want the people buy, it drives volume towards Firo. It allows more speculators to participate. And of course, Firo isn't we aren't in the business of encouraging speculation, but speculation also increase liquidity and also increase attention to the project, which is really good, right? So obviously, do trade responsibly. It actually allows you to do 50 times, if I'm not mistaken. So that means you can get a bigger gain, but it means you also can have a bigger loss. I'm sure there are many other guides out there as to how to manage futures and perpetuals in a much better way. But yeah, please do take a look at this. And MEXC is a well, I would say it's a decent exchange. Obviously, do your own research, and always trade responsibly. So yeah, that was a big thing that has been driving a lot of volume to Firo, and hopefully we continue seeing this. I mean, look at that, I mean, this could be bots, but it's working, right? So pretty interesting seeing this happen. And this is actually not the only perpetual we got. This is the second perpetual we got. We actually missed this, and we saw that KCEX also listed Firo USD on its perpetual futures. And the last I checked, they were doing about $300,000 in volume, which is not too bad. So pretty good. We are seeing increase, I would say, perpetual and interest support with Firo, and I think that's always a good sign. Now, while we're on the topic of this Firo Frontier newsletter, don't forget to subscribe to it. It's at newsletter.firo.org, where you can, just basically subscribe, and you take a look here. You can just enter your email address, and we will send you basically every 2 weeks, roughly, updates straight to your inbox, so that you don't have to just keep track. It gets delivered to you. So yeah, please do subscribe to this. Now, a big question has been, what's in, basically Firo Development's roadmap plans. And I did post this in October 2024, seeking community feedback. And everyone, basically there hasn't been a lot of feedback. We're still really open to feedback. But the main thing is that we are going to, of course, improve our privacy. We're going to improve the utility. We're going to be focusing on Spark assets. And, I wouldn't go too much into this because I think it warrants its own video on its own. And we're also really expanding our integration with not just decentralized exchanges, but also like Web3 browser extension wallets and light wallets. All these things we're trying to do. And I think one of the long-term ones that we are looking at is also quantum resistant ways to deal with our privacy protocol, which is Spark. Because although I still do think a quantum computer is in some time away, but there is a non-zero chance that a quantum computer would come around in the next 10 years or so. So I think it's good to have a plan and to start preparing the transition to there. And we are already seeing a bunch of other projects also starting to look into quantum resistant mechanisms. Now, some of you may say, well, why don't, some other projects have done some sort of, straight away implemented, quantum resistant schemes. And while I think it's a good initiative to have, if you want to talk about usability today, the current quantum resistant schemes that we have come with very huge performance trade-offs. So either the transactions are like, several times larger than we have today, greatly impacting scalability, or they have really poor performance characteristics, or there's some other trade-off, or it hasn't been analyzed as well. So I don't think we should have these things definitely being looked at and actively being researched, but I don't think we should be in a hurry to quickly jump into something that may be obsolete in 1 or 2 years, right? And come with all the bad performance drawbacks. So I do think that it is a long-term plan, but one that we shouldn't be rushing into. So I hope that explains why we aren't doing it like right now today. I don't think a quantum computer is here today. And if you take a look at the news, even with Google and all of that, a lot of it is blown out of proportion. There are many videos that you can watch on YouTube or else that explains this much better. Listen to the experts, don't listen to some influencer that has kind of like I would say a cursory understanding and more inclined to give like kind of clickbait, like, oh yeah, quantum computing is breaking everything. No, listen to the experts, listen to the cryptographers. All right, okay. So one of the really cool things is that we have Spark names, which we announced roughly as a proposed feature in August 2024. It took a little longer than we expected, but we do plan to have this in testnet. I would say within a week from the recording of this video, and it's like the 19th of January now. And basically with Spark names, to me it's really exciting because it solves one of the biggest problems of crypto adoption and addresses, right? I mean, like, obviously, you know, for us who are crypto natives, you'll be like, oh yeah, you know, I'm always just gonna do a cut and paste and I save it in the address book. But if you take a look at the new generation, or even our current generation, you would rather just, like, you know, add someone like, hey, just send it to Elias Ruben, you know, instead of putting this long crypto address, and you had to kind of take a look and check, yeah, is this really the right address? And there are other, of course, this idea is not new in the sense that, yes, there have been human readable names in other cryptocurrencies for quite a while. For example, I think one of the earliest merge mine coins of Bitcoin was called Namecoin, right? And where you could register a name and kind of register it to a particular Bitcoin address. And probably like the most used one now is like Ethereum name system, where if you see something like Ruben.eth or something like that, it resolves to a crypto address. But there is a huge problem with this, namely being that there is no privacy, right? And what that means is that, okay, I look at Ruben.eth, basically I look at it and it's all my transactions there, right? So maybe let's just take a look just to kind of understand what we're talking about, right? So let's just take a look at Vitalik.eth, right? Let's see, yes, I am a human. Okay, so you can take a look. Resolve address. Vitalik ETH resolves to this address. As you know, Vitalik is the founder of Ethereum. And you can see every single transaction he has made, right? You can look it up. You can see all the different tokens he has. You can see his holdings, right? This is basically like almost like looking at someone's bank account, right? So it's kind of crazy. Look at this. He has like 400,000 worth of Kyber and all this crazy information leaks, right? So I think this is really bad. I mean, like, would you want to give your basically your bank statement just because someone has my name? And this is a huge problem, right? So this isn't a problem with Spark names because it resolves to a Spark address. And a Spark address, remember, you cannot look up a Spark address on the blockchain. You can send to it just like an email address, but you can't ascertain what the person is holding, what the, you know, when he has received something, or what balance. So it's almost like an email address that you can share publicly but still retain the privacy of its contents or any sort of interactions with it. And this is kind of the beauty of Spark names, right? You have this human readable address that resolves to a privacy preserving address, because as you can see, you know, Spark names aren't pretty. They're really long and kind of hard to deal with. Let's take a look here, right? Like if you see receive, yeah, you know, no one wants to kind of, I mean, yes, I could copy paste and send it to you, but what if I could just say, hey, send to Elias Ruben, Elias Firo, and that is just way more easier. I saw some criticisms, people say, why would we want this? I mean, like, why not? This really improves user functionality, right? The other thing that it also does is that it also creates an income stream for the protocol, because unlike in some other systems where there is a one-time fee to register something and you get it forever, to me that's a bit dangerous, you know, because first of all, it kind of encourages name squatting. So, like, you know, just imagine I register Elias Binance, right, or Elias Ruben, and even if I die or like, you know, I don't pay for it, I just sit on it forever, and that name is taken forever, which isn't, which isn't right. I mean, we pay for our domain names. We pay for Firo.org. We have to renew it because it's a constant like cost, right? So I believe that we should have like renewal systems in place, and this is one of the things that we thought about. And what it means is that it's gonna be quite cheap, right? So if you have a long address, so let's say like 6 letters and above, it's gonna cost 1 Firo per year, right? So if you want to register 100 years, yeah, go ahead and pay 100 Firo, and you're gonna get that name registered to you for 100 years. But let's say you want to kind of like register like more vanity names, like I just want to have FIRO, which is 4 letters, right? Well, you're gonna pay 10 times the amount, right? And if you just want 1 letter for some crazy reason, you just want Elias X, yeah, you're gonna pay 1,000 Firo for that. Obviously, this is all totally optional, but we have to realize that these namespaces are scarce in nature, and obviously the more scarce they are, the higher the price. So for I think most people, you just pay 1 Firo per year, and this actually generates income for the protocol, because every time you renew, there's this cost to pay. And right now, the way that we are coding it, it goes towards the community fund. That means it's not being funded by inflation, it's not being funded by is totally someone paying it for the thing, and it goes towards the community fund. And the community fund is not being managed by the core team, it's managed by an independently elected committee by the community, right? So obviously there are some ideas where this, instead of channeling it to the community fund, we could channel it to a burn address, we could channel it to miners, we could channel it to masternodes. But to start with, let's start with the community fund. And I think it might be actually a good idea to burn these fees and to create almost like a deflationary way to deal with our supply, right? So I think this is a really cool idea, in the sense that this is something that you can only buy natively with Firo, and that's kind of like one of the cool things with Ethereum or Solana, where in these ecosystems there are things that you can buy only with Ethereum, so like you can't buy it in US dollars. So this is starting to create like a Firo ecosystem. The other thing that's really exciting is what this is not mentioned in this post, is that we actually included like a metadata field, which would mean that you can sort of insert any sort of arbitrary data inside this field. And it could be like a JSON formatted, or it could be really anything. And what that means is that when you embed data to your Spark name, it no longer just becomes a Spark name, it becomes the basis of a digital identity, right? I could put my website there, I could put like an NFT profile picture there, anything I want to put in this metadata. Of course, within certain limits, you can do it. So a Spark name doesn't just become just an alias system or just a naming system, but it also can form the basis of a digital identity system. Obviously, we need to do certain like standardization of what this metadata should be looks like for apps to different process it. But this is the beginning, right? And I just want to kind of let you know what's the possibility of Spark names, and not just look at it, oh yeah, it's just another alias system. It's a privacy preserving alias system, but also the ability to also do digital identity with it. So this is something that's going to come in testnet over the next, I think, hopefully within 1 week. I've been told it was supposed to be yesterday, but with some slight delays, we want to get it out as close as complete to possible on testnet. So bear with us. I think this is really, really exciting, right? Another thing that you may have known, for those of you who use FiroDEX, and FiroDEX is an atomic swap based decentralized exchange that is basically a fork, it's like a supported fork of Komodo wallet. We have an agreement with Komodo to support this Firo branded DEX, But unfortunately, just like a couple of days ago, they posted this thing to say that, because of MiCA regulations and travel rule and all this stuff, they're going to have some sort of compliance and AML features, right? Which kind of is against the ethos. Well, look, I don't blame Komodo, right? A lot of them are based in Europe, some of them I guess in the US, and none of them want to go to jail or face kind of really hefty type of regulatory issues. We are outside those jurisdiction, and the idea is that for those that are not restricted from doing this, they should have access to this DEX platform and do atomic swaps. So we are working on getting volunteers to set up alternate seat relays, because all of them used to be hosted by Komodo and their Notarian Nodes election. I'm not so familiar with their ecosystem, but basically they just took it all out. But we are in the process of restoring it. It will probably take a couple of weeks, but this is also kind of like a warning shot, right? Like I do really like what Komodo wallet does, and it is a great system that works today. But if it's going to be all this compliance and AML, and I think worse, it would be some sort of KYC. Yeah, it's kind of against the ethos of privacy coins. But look, we understand where they're coming from. For our version, our Firo DEX version, where we are allowed to, we're not going to have any sort of KYC requirements for the Firo DEX, and we'll probably structure it as such so that we aren't running the seed nodes, volunteers are running it. And yeah, this is basically only right now applies to people in the EU. So it's a decentralized system. Anyone can run the order book, the code is there, but we are getting help to make sure that we set it out correctly. But they are not hosted by Komodo or us, right? Okay, so yeah, I mean, just stay tuned, and just to let you know, like, Komodo wallet isn't the only DEX we are integrating with. We have Bison wallet, which is Decred's wallet, which is, it's kind of there, but there's like a last leg of work that needs to be done so that market making can happen and deal with the exchange addresses. I don't have exact timeline for that. That's being handled by Dev Warrior and also the Decred and Bison wallet team. But that's another option that we're looking at. We're also looking at Sarai, that's run by, not run, but it's going to be launched by Kayaba Nerf or Luke Parker, who does a lot of work for Monero, but has also helped the Firo project as well. That's also another integration we're looking in. And we're also looking at something called Layer Swap, which is another, I would say, atomic swap base thing. Let me just show you guys. Yeah, Layer Swap V8. And it's a pretty interesting system because although it uses atomic swaps, it has an improved version of atomic swaps, because I think one of the problems with atomic swaps is that both parties kind of have to remain online, and that's kind of sucks because some swaps take about 20 to 30 minutes, and having to be online throughout the whole process is I would say a bad user experience. And what's even worse, like, let's say I want to receive BEP20 Firo on a new BNB chain, or some other chain like Ethereum or whatnot. I need to have some existing BNB or Ethereum or Solana before I can even do that swap because of existing atomic swap protocols. Layer Swap introduces something called pre-HTLCs, which you can read about, and that basically removes the requirement to be online. It allows multi-hop, so like Uniswap, if you have like a Firo BNB pair, it can also route to USDT if there is liquidity on BNB and USDT. So that deals with it, and it also means that I can just swap directly with other chains without even having the native coin gas token of the receiving chain. So that is, all of these are really key issues of atomic swaps that are being solved by these Layer Swap V8. Right now, I would say the ETA of integration of this without any sort of firm commitment is about 4 months. we're in touch with them. They are interested in what we're doing, and yeah, so we're really excited to see how this develops. So stay tuned. We'll only make an announcement once it's like really confirmed. But hey, you're paying attention to this video, you know that we're working on all these things in the background, right? Another thing that I think I probably covered this in the last Firo Fortnight, but we had this integration into Enkrypt wallet, and Enkrypt wallet basically is a multi-coin wallet that works directly in your browser extension. So we know that many of this Solana, Ethereum natives all want this multi-coin wallet that works directly within their browser without having to install anything new. We realized this, and therefore we are working together with Enkrypt to have a Firo wallet which full Lelantus Spark support. That means it will support Spark addresses and Spark transactions and have all the privacy there. Work is progressing, I would say, smoothly. So all the non-transparent portions have been done. It all integrates well, but it appears that we have to rewrite certain portions of our Spark code into a format or in a way that the browser extension would recognize, and that is being done underway at the moment. So the team that is doing it, Blockstars, has been really on the ball on this, despite the increased complexity than what they originally envisaged. They're not changing the price. They are continuing to work on it, and they just say, yeah, give us a little bit more time than we originally envisioned. But this will be really good, right? That means now we have Stack Wallet, which is a multi-coin wallet. I understand that Cake Wallet's also looking into it, because Stack Wallet is a fork of Cake, and I think Vic did mention that Firo is on their radar. We have Campfire, and all these wallets are really easy to use. And this is the kind of user experience that people are expecting today. No one wants to run a full node except the most hardcore people, right? So that's something that we're working on. Yeah. So I think this basically, kind of covers the main things that has happened, right? Of course, like, Chinese New Year is coming, I would say, like in like 10 days. So I would say happy Chinese New Year. Is it the year of the snake? Yeah. All right, well, hopefully I got that right. So 恭喜你, and please enjoy your holidays if you're celebrating. Oh yeah, so if you want to take a look, what we're working on, again, it's all in our newsletter, right? We always give weekly updates in our forum that you can see here, and you see that we are still very underway in developing Spark assets, right? We've been doing the business logic. A lot of it has been completed, and we've already now refactoring the cryptographic components for this. We're also working on the Spark Coinbase. Basically, that means we want to encourage Spark adoption. So let's say you mine coins or you have your masternode rewards, you can now optionally choose to move them directly into Spark addresses. We'll start with optional, see how the take up on that, and maybe then move it to mandatory. So again, another thing that is really interesting. Now, the other thing that had a lot of work being put in was our work on, or rather CipherStack and our work on Campfire. And basically, remember when we had this partnership with Confidential Layer, and we had several thousand users come into our stuff and try to set up our wallet and stuff, and that actually overloaded the servers and also highlighted certain issues when people don't have the best of internet connections, or when the server is overloaded, right? And so we've done a lot of work in the back end, and you can see that last time you'll be kind of like stuck at 30%, but now you see that it does it incrementally, and even you can see, I guess, more granular control of the syncing process. and it's more resistant to slight disconnection because it breaks up the downloads into small little portions. So, let's say if you're on a mobile network connection, which used to be really tough, because if you had to download like 200-300 megabytes of data and your internet connection was interrupted, that would actually means you have to download it all again. Now, by breaking it into small little portions, you only have to resume from the part which you disconnected. So this was a huge improvement. You'll notice much increased reliability when working on mobile networks or unreliable networks. The work has all been done. It's all deployed in the latest Campfire and Stack wallets, and this is something that thank you so much for your patience for this. And it's working now. I mean, I'm showing here the desktop wallet, but it also works on the mobile wallet and all of that. We've also fixed the Electrum Trezor issue, which was plaguing a bunch of wasn't a widespread issue, but there were some issues there. And obviously we are still doing our normal Firo maintenance. We're improving the build system, we're refactoring our code, we're cleaning it up, especially as we're starting to do Spark assets and all of this, right? So yeah, again, please, I think that kind of wraps up this current update. I don't want these updates to be like an hour long. It's already half an hour-ish. So yeah, if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section and we will answer them. And again, like we've seen a kind of huge improvement and huge intake of users, liquidity for Firo, and let's really look forward to building the Firo dream and the Firo fan. So take care, guys, and until next time, have a great Chinese New Year holidays where you're celebrating, but have a great 2025 ahead. Take care. Bye.